a black and white traffic stopper
Holy zebra.
gives locals the runaround. An antlered antagonist terrorizes a community.
I was just so shocked. It's just like a black monster. And I knew right away, that's a freaking moose.
And a grizzly fugitive is laying low in a suburban shrub.
And I realized, my gosh, that is a big bear.
We brought wild animals into our world, in zoos, on farms, and as pets. We think we have them under control. But what happens when these creatures break loose and become animal fugitives? August 14, 2010. California commuters have to deal with their fair share of traffic. After an afternoon on the river, Carmichael resident Andrew Corey has joined the throng slogging it out through the rush hour jams.
I was out on the river all day. It was probably around 5 p.m. And so we're just kind of out there just getting demolished by the sun, and I was just tired.
But when Andrew gets further up the road, he can't believe what's been holding up traffic.
When I first saw it, I thought maybe I was a little bit delusional. Just from being in the sun all day, not having enough to eat, I thought maybe, I was seeing things.
But when he pulls his car up closer, it's clear that this trotting traffic stopper is no illusion.
Holy zebra on the road.
Wanted, Plains Zebra. Also known as the common zebra, this guy is on the run after bolting from a nearby farm. They can run at speeds of up to 40 miles per hour, but this black and white striped suspect seems to have taken some lessons. He's cruising at 25, which happens to be the legal limit in Carmichael.
And the funny thing is actually staying in one lane for the most part. I didn't think it would know how to signal if it wanted to go to my lane or anything like that.
But in this instance, the law is as simple as black and white. Speed limits cover drivers like Andrew, not galloping wild game. The startled fugitive is attempting to lay low in a residential neighborhood. But apparently, zebra print isn't the local fashion. Within minutes, police cars and media vans are on the scene. Right in the middle of the action is news cameraman Josh Barr.
It's very, very quiet residential area, kind of narrow, windy streets. When it happened, there were people on the lawns and people on the sidewalks just gaping and trying to figure out what it was that had just galloped past their house.
But right away, Josh and all the nosy neighbors see firsthand what the buzz is about.
The zebra comes running down, surrounded by squad cars, and like they were herding it almost.
The cops herd the animal straight into a residential driveway. And for the moment, it seems like they may earn their stripes. With the zebra cornered, it looks like this renegade equine's time is up.
They had a squad car right in the center of the driveway, kind of to keep it in the back there, and they were trying to corral it back there, get a rope on it, and that kind of thing. It seemed like this was where it was going to end.
Smelling an exclusive angle on the big capture, Josh gets himself and his camera in place.
I was trying to move him back and forth, trying to get the best angle I could, trying to get a glimpse of this thing.
Zebras are highly social animals that spend their time in herds. Separated from the pack, this equid is spooked. And spotting a gap between the cop car and the hedge, the zebra charges. Josh thinks he's a safe distance behind a cop car. But suddenly, he finds himself directly in the path of the galloping brute.
It breaks free, and I realize it's coming my way, and I don't want to get run over, and I don't want to lose the shot.
Close call. It's a lucky escape for Josh and for the zebra, who's now back on the run.
Took off right down this row of bushes and trees, headed right down this residential area, and the race was back on.
The gathering crowd is loving the drama.
We are now going to find a zebra. We are following Animal Control.
People wanted to see the zebra. I mean, that's why they came out of their houses. And so when the zebra got free, I think they were rooting for it.
Oh my God! That poor zebra! I feel so bad for it.
We're not the zoo or the Serengeti, and to see a zebra just clippy-clopping through here is just absolutely ridiculous.
But the suburban circus isn't over yet. With the fuzz hot on its heels, the striped fugitive turns into an apartment complex.
It was a perfect apartment complex to go to because it has one driveway that they could block with their squad car.
And for the first time, the zebra is truly trapped.
I walked right between the squad cars, trying to get the best shot.
He's able to get inches from the zebra.
I zoomed in on it and got a good look at its face and its little mane. It was beautiful. My adrenaline was pumping. I was so excited. I knew that I got the shot that nobody else had gotten. Maybe it was drawn to me. I don't know. I did have a black and white striped shirt on. That's not a joke. I actually did.
But while the fugitive zebra might be trapped, it's still not caught. Luckily, a police officer has come up with an ingenious plan.
Off of the parking lot, there's a fenced-in area where the pool is.
The idea is to coax the animal in.
And that way, the only way out was through that one gate. They could butt the trailer up to it and hopefully capture it.
Within moments, the zebra is enclosed in the gated pool area. Its capture seems imminent. But what police don't realize is that after all that running, this zebra needs to cool off.
So I decided to use the pool option. And it went for a swim. And there's no lifeguard. I don't know if there's a no zebra sign, but there probably will be soon.
The impromptu pool party gives officers a chance to end this debacle.
I think once it had gotten in the pool, that seemed to have eased its temper a little bit, and that made it easier for them, I think, to get ropes on it and to get it out of the pool and into their trailer.
After being spooked from her pen, the fugitive is packed up and sent home. For Josh, it's a day to remember.
A lot of the stories that I cover, I forget them the next day. This one will stick in my mind for the rest of my life. It was one of the greatest moments of my career, which sounds absolutely strange, but it was a strange story, I guess.
While the two-tone pony kept cops on their heels, across the globe in Asia, a slick swine is giving its pursuers the runaround. How do you catch a runaway pig hightailing it down a Taiwanese highway? With a giant net, of course. Police and a local farmer on the island of Taiwan play a serious game of chicken, chasing this racing bacon. Why did the pig cross the road? To fake out a farmer. Nice moves. But it's not long until pursuers get the drop on this pig. Ha ha ha, gotcha. Don't gloat too hard, fella. There's still some fight left in this sneaky swine. It gives them the slip. But the would-be captors rally. This time, they're not taking any chances. And this little piggy is going wee, wee, wee all the way home. Catching an animal fugitive isn't always as easy as netting a happy-go-lucky hog. When dealing with a supersized suspect, sometimes there's just no net big enough. It's a quiet Sunday morning in the suburban Canadian town of Moncton, New Brunswick. People are at home with the morning paper. The streets are quiet. All seems normal. Neighbor Nick Kerwin is startled by his mother's screams.
So I ran downstairs. I expected somebody was like mugging her or something like that.
But when Nick gets downstairs and looks out the window, he can't believe his eyes.
I was just so shocked because I was in my kitchen and it's just like this, it's just like a black monster. I had no idea what it was at all until I came to the store here and I knew right away, that's a friggin' moose.
In Moncton, New Brunswick, Nick Kerwin is startled by an intruder at his home.
It is Canada, but I mean, we don't see a moose in the neighborhood like every week, right?
Wanted, Eastern Canadian moose. The moose is the tallest land mammal in North America. Males, known as bulls, can weigh over 1,800 pounds and stand over 7 feet tall.
It was an amazing sight because I'm literally like 3 feet away. Definitely some curse words coming out of my mouth because I was pretty shocked to see a moose. It was a big boy. I don't really know much about moose, but I've seen big enough for me.
This bull has blundered into town, but now can't find its way back to the forest. A neighbor calls 911 and police are quickly on the way. But they're not alone. Videographer Ray Richard hears about the moose while driving nearby. When he gets the call, he knows he has a hot lead.
I was sitting on the front steps of one of these houses shooting the moose from across the street, and the moose came from this direction, heading down here.
Up close, Ray realizes that he is outmatched by the massive moose.
I'm 5'10", I was standing next to it. It felt like it was at least 7 feet tall.
While Ray is awestruck by the size of this antlered antagonist, the moose turns its attention to Ray's car with his wife inside and makes his move.
The moose was running towards my car. I figured my wife was in danger, and I was sure he was going to run right over top of the car. It happened so fast, I couldn't believe that my car was in the way. Once he got past the car, I was kind of relieved. I was glad he didn't hit my car or hurt my wife.
I'm sorry, what was that, Ray?
Luckily, the moose ran by the car, and she wasn't injured or my car. That better.
But this footloose moose isn't done yet. And after narrowly missing Ray's wife, it decides to play a game of chicken with an SUV. The driver has to put the pedal to the metal to avoid a head-on collision. But as the SUV gets out of harm's way, it reveals a small child standing directly in the path of the spooked moose.
And then that's where you see the little kid down here at the corner.
The situation could turn deadly. But just as quick as the child appears, the moose does something unexpected.
As soon as the moose spotted the little kid, it's like he did a U-turn and didn't harm the kid and ran back up the street.
The child is whisked to safety and crisis is averted. But residents and neighbors are no closer to corralling this half-ton trespasser. With the 7-foot moose unwilling to leave, the police have no choice but to call in an expert. Enter zoo manager Bruce Dugan.
They were wondering if I could go with my tranquilizer gun and tranquilize the animal to remove it from that area. I was the only option they had left, and they needed my assistance immediately.
When Bruce arrives, he readies his tranquilizer rifle and confronts the fugitive face-to-face. Spotting an opportunity to end the chase, Bruce takes a shot. But the tranquilizer dart fails to discharge. And the angry moose charges.
Oh my God, he's going for some.
Just the scenario Bruce feared.
You never want to try to tranquilize an animal when it's on the run because it's just too hard to hit a moving target. There were many, many people in the area, and we had to try at that point to get people to get back into their houses so that if I did get an opportunity to fire the tranquilizer dart, that there would be no chance of an accident happening.
As a bad situation again escalates into danger, Ray and the rest of the neighbors watch in disbelief.
He was trying to get a shot at the moose, but there was just so many people out in their yards, backyards, front yards, and they started yelling at people to get in, but nobody was listening to them. And the more yelling and screaming and sirens that were going on, more and more people were coming out.
Get out of the way, guys! You can't fire with people! Get in your house!
Meanwhile, Bruce methodically stalks the miffed moose.
I had come out of the backyard where I initially took the first shot and came into this area behind the shed here.
All eyes are on this man versus moose standoff. Can Bruce finally bring this clash to a close?
The moose was standing in the parking lot here. Obviously had not shown any signs of sedation from the first shot.
Bruce is the first to draw.
I gave him a second dart. I knew that it was a successful shot.
Finally, after a 3-hour chase, the situation seems to be under control.
He started to show some dizziness and headed into the woods.
He's getting a little woozy, isn't he?
Didn't go very far into the woods when he lay down and just stayed there until he became sedated.
I was relieved that it was all over for the moose.
It was time for this fugitive to scram.
We took the animal up to an area outside of town.
With the moose gone, Ray could reflect on an experience that will last a lifetime.
It was the most awesome video I've ever shot.
But Ray believes this is just the beginning. He expects this to happen more frequently.
The more they're building suburbs and in the areas where these animals live, animals aren't going anywhere. They continue to come back into where they're used to living.
While the mammoth Canadian moose sleeps it off. In LA, cops are being kept awake by a bumbling suspect who goes bump in the night. June 6, 2010. Cameraman Glenn Herman is working the night shift.
My whole job is to drive around at night, find out what's going on, shoot video footage of it.
Listening to his police scanner, he hears a desperate call for backup. A strongly built suspect is on the loose, and it sounds like a good lead.
If they're calling for backup at 1:30 in the morning and they're asking for a helicopter and they're talking about something big running around, that's interesting. I gotta be there.
Arriving on the scene, he finds police have cordoned off the road. Helicopters are flying above, shining lights on one tree. But this is no manhunt. Police are tracking a fugitive of a different kind.
All of a sudden there's some movement, some rustling in the leaves. You can see a shadow moving in there.
With the police horns blaring, the fugitive shows.
And the officer yells out, "It's on the move, it's on the move." And all of a sudden I realize I'm 30 feet away from a giant black bear.
Wanted, California black bear. In an LA suburb, police have their hands full with a furry felon.
So now it gets exciting. The bear jumps out of the tree and it takes off this direction. It starts running this way. And it was just so big. I mean, you could see its muscles going, you could see all the fat and everything like that. And I realized, my gosh, that is a big bear.
Black bears are the most common bear in North America, and their opportunistic eating habits can bring them to the city in search of a late-night snack. With adults growing up to 600 pounds, it's not something you want strolling around your neighborhood. Officers want to apprehend this immense intruder before he causes any damage. But this bashful Bruin doesn't want to stick around for questioning. And the chase is on.
It kind of looks like a cops and robbers movie. It looks like a pursuit. It's basically a bear pursuit.
With the 5-0 hot on his trail, the bear lays low.
So now the bear has rounded the corner and it's kind of lost the cops, and I'm sure it's trying to find a place to hide.
But concealing 250 pounds of furry frame is not that easy.
Its heads might be hidden, but its body is sticking out.
Despite his best efforts, this bashful behemoth isn't fooling anyone. Especially not game warden Don Nelson.
Basically, the only thing hidden on him were his paws. Everything else was sticking out in the lights. It was similar to maybe an ostrich hiding their head in the sand. You know, their heads disappeared, but their body's still sticking out.
But this hiding spot is proving no cover for the startled bear. If he stays where he is, he'll be caught red-pawed.
His only option really was to go northbound. He's got a clear path to get away from all the noise and commotion going on with the lights.
Don watches as the bear flees.
When the bear made his break, those bushes right over there is where he jumped the fence.
The criminal lays low along the bushy fence. An 8-foot hedge means nothing to this agile runaway. And at the top, he can't resist a cheeky pose for his would-be captors. Here's looking at you, kid. The fugitive bear has given cops the slip, but is now heading towards 8 lanes of traffic.
I was concerned this bear was going to get hit by a car on the freeway, and we were going to have a bigger situation on our hand than we had already started with.
With the bear by the edge of the freeway, the choppers are sent in to put an end to this farce.
Once the bear made his way over the freeway, we did our initial search right in here. Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything, no movement.
The cops have to be sure he's gone, so they adopt a technique used for flushing out the most wily of fugitives. They call down the eye in the sky.
Comes down so low. One of the rangers said he's never seen a helicopter that low before. It kind of reminded me of the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Lights coming everywhere through the smoky trees.
But this late-night show of Air Force does nothing to dislodge the bear. To root out his hideaway, the cops need to have a close encounter of their own kind.
And that's when the police came in, went up the on-ramp, and they had their guns with flashlights on it. And you can see they're a little afraid. They don't know where that bear is. It might be here, it might be there. They're going through it, and they're just trying to find it.
Armed with pellet rifles and a tranquilizer gun, Don leads the officers as they comb the brush.
Some of our guys had shotguns. Myself, I had a rifle, dart rifle, just in case I was able to get a shot of a dart on him. But at that time, we had no idea he was even in there.
At any moment, an angry, cornered bear could emerge. This is a heart-pounding moment. The police wait and wait. But the bear doesn't show. After hours of heated pursuit, is this bear hunt really a bust? For Glenn, the gathering daybreak means he has to call it a night.
I'm looking at my watch going, I've got deadline. I've got to get this footage up for the morning news shows. And so at that point, I had to cut out and had to just provide what I had for the morning reporters.
Police are about to call off the search when Don decides to make one final sweep.
We got almost nearing the end of the fence line, and we heard a bear in the bushes. Basically, we heard him grunting and just making noise and movement, so we knew he was still in there.
Don tranquilizes the bear and takes him back to the hills. With the furry felon hooked and booked, Don can finally declare this case closed. Amazing escapes, supercharged chases, and unexpected standoffs. This is what happens when wild creatures escape and become animal fugitives.